Hey everybody, what's up? It's Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies, we would hold the truth hostage. Now this video is gonna be about MGTOW, MSTOW, and some aspects of the PILL-LOSOPhy we speak about. Now, I won't lie, man, when I got into the manosphere, I think it was, I don't 100% remember, probably 2016, 17, I'm not 100% sure. But I was watching the content and I got into MGTOW, I was watching a lot of MGTOW content, shout out to the channels that are gone. You had Men 101, you had MGTOW 101, he's gone. You had, you had MGTOW is Freedom. You had a lot of channels, man. Of course, Sandman. Watched Barbarossa's Stardust. Watched a lot of channels. And the thing about MGTOW, I'd say that made it even more digestible than the red pill, is that MGTOW just told men, of course, to go your own way. Basically it was telling men, you need to, in my opinion, just to walk away from the system, man. Go your own way. Don't go towards what society wants you to become as a man, the white picket fence. Just go your own way and avoid the pitfalls. And of course, MGTOW provided some knowledge from the red pill and was telling men about female behavior, but MGTOW pushed a lot about men just going their own way. It was heavily, in my opinion, heavily inspired. You see a lot of the bachelor life in MGTOW, and a lot of men were told, a man going his own way, just go away from society and avoid the pitfalls as a man. And unlike the MRA, don't go out there protesting and preaching when you know the odds are stacked against you as a man to begin with, and that you won't really be heard anyway. The opposition is far too much, and as a man, you shouldn't kill yourself with stress. There was also, with stress and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And MGTOW to me was very helpful, man. It educated a man, and it told you about life, and a lot of aspects about life you need to enjoy and build yourself up as a man. But also in MGTOW, MGTOW had a lot of men generally, men going their own way, men telling you their faults, their flaws, their mistakes, what they did wrong. And there was a lot of pluses to MGTOW. And I'm gonna head into, eventually I'll get to the negative, but and MGTOW were telling men, it's okay to go monk, it's okay for you to be celibate as a man. It's okay for you to basically protect yourself, man, that you as a man owe yourself above all. You need to prioritize yourself as a man, obtain resources, prioritize your own happiness, your own safety, and things of that nature. But also in MGTOW, there was something, I can't remember who identified it, but there was also MSTOW. If MGTOW was men going their own way, you had MSTOW, which was men sent their own way. And in MGTOW, we had a lot of that. We had a lot of men that were just upset and angry. They were just angry that they're divorced, their wife divorced them, they were upset, they were put on child support. They were really upset about the fact that they weren't able to continue that life as a husband or as a father, And MSTOW was, as it states, men sent their own way. They were sent their own way by their wives or their girlfriends, or by society with, false accusation and so on, and the major difference with Men Sent Their Own Way was, I'd say the prime example of MSTOW was, even though we had a lot of informative information, was MGTOW is freedom. When MGTOW was freedom at the time, it was very big, man. Big John was putting out a lot of content, but if you watched a lot of his content, there was some great moments here and there, but there was a lot of, when it came to describing his wife, there's a lot of resentment and some anger there, you know what I'm saying? And John didn't, and I'd say the major difference between a MGTOW and a MSTOW is that a MGTOW man can identify he messed up. MGTOW will take accountability. I messed up by getting married. I messed up by, having a child in this system. They will own up to their mistakes. While a MSTOW will basically tell you she ended our marriage. She ended my access to my children. Basically, a MSTOW wanted to continue that lifestyle rather than explain the hurdles and the danger of joining into that life. And one thing you saw Big John was that Big John said, I built my wife a ranch, a house, I gave her everything I could, you know what I'm saying? And then she just divorced me, and she took everything, he'd curse her out here and there, he'd express a lot of anger here and there, that's the MSTOW. And what Big John then owned up to was that he gave her all these things. You know what I'm saying? That he gave her everything for damn near nothing. She opened her legs and gave you a child, and for that, you built her a ranch, you gave her everything. You were the one that messed up. And even though she divorced you and took everything she could, this is what you set yourself up to. You know what I'm saying? You set yourself up in that situation. And as it continued, Big John was giving some messages. He was teaching some men, but the majority of his content, you would never see him just own up to it. And, I think that's a MSTOW, is a man that was sent his own ways, and he was put out of his marriage and so on. You know what I'm saying? He didn't volunteer. He didn't walk away from it. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't ignorant of it here and there, and he wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? MGTOW usually ignorant of it or didn't know something. But the MSTOW, you won't accept the role he played in it. He was sent his own way by her. MSTOW's Men Sent Their Own Way. And Big John then explained that, man, you gave her all this. You put all your chips on the table simply because she opened her legs, and you went above and beyond to give her every fabric of your life you could invest into her. You know what I'm saying? And when it was all said and done, what happened to MGTOW's freedom is, and this is a man that was telling you that the mainstream media won't help men anyway, will only put you in put you out in a pasture, basically set you up and demonize you. He went on CNN and they clipped and cut all of his, what he was telling him to make him look like a monster. And then basically YouTube had a massive purge of MGTOW content. You had Men 101 lost his channel. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of MGTOW channels just disappear. You can't even use the MGTOW in certain aspects. YouTube automatically will throttle you, block you. I'm shadow banned, so if I even type that, that MGTOW, they delete my whole comment. You know what I'm saying? So when Big John went to CNN, they basically set up, he volunteered just like the marriage. He volunteered because here's the thing. Big John was averaging over, I think at the time he was averaging damn near over 40,000 views a video. So his message was getting across. His message was getting across to more men than ever before. You know what I mean? They were helping him out. They were reaching out to him. They were emailing him. You know what I'm saying? They was sending him some drinks here and there. But he went to CNN, and you know, when I figured out, when somebody told me about the MSTOW thing, it was the sign of his commitment as a MSTOW, because why would you need CNN to validate anything you're saying? Unless you needed validation, unless you wanted to be seen as a victim. You know what I'm saying? And when he went on CNN and spoke about marriage and what men will lose and all that, CNN set him up, and CNN basically clipped what he said and made him look made him look like a sad, broken down man. You know what I mean? And then after CNN interviewed MGTOW's Freedom, they basically, YouTube got word of it and literally blocked and deleted and purged many MGTOW channels. A lot of MGTOW channels were changed. You had Darius MGTOW, who used to go by Darius MGTOW, now he's Darius. You know, I think it's Darius M. A lot of guys removed the MGTOW acronym. Some kept it here and there. You know what I'm saying? So all this happened with the MSTOW, and in MGTOW, you have a very divide. You have the MGTOW men. The MGTOW men are usually the men that they're not blaming women here and there. They're just explaining the law, the way the law is, and how you as a man should maneuver and how you should live your life, you know what I'm saying, domestically, you know. And key word, you'll understand why I said domestically, you know, because that's one of the biggest weaknesses of MGTOW, is that domestic aspect of thinking. So, you know, you had the great purge, and in MGTOW there's a very collision. There are men that will claim MGTOW when they're MSTOW, that, you know, shout out to Black Crusader. There are some men that will claim the MGTOW acronym because their wife, you know what I'm saying, put them on I think, put a restraining order on them, you know what I'm saying, after they beat their wife, whatever, you know. And some men, the marriage ended, they wanted to stay married, they wanted to live in that illusion, and they were sent out. Some men are avoiding responsibilities for child support here and there, you know what I'm saying. There's a lot. The MGTOW community had a heavy infestation of, you know, some high level of MSTOW. That's why I think the guy who came up with MSTOW, men sent their own way, and then you got MGTOW, the men going their own way. You know, the men sent their own way are bitter, angry, and you could clearly see that rage and anger if you mention women here and there and stuff like that. And their perspective of how their relationship ended is from a perspective of, you know, they remove themselves from any accountability, you know. They just say the woman did this, the woman did that, the woman did this, the woman cheated on me, the woman did this, the woman did that. While the MGTOW guys will basically tell you, yo man, I messed up. I got into a long-term relationship. You know, I knew the risk, and, you know, a MGTOW man will just take accountability for their actions, you know. And you had that in the manosphere, you know what I'm saying? But now the problem with MGTOW, and the big problem with MGTOW is MGTOW tells men to go their own way, but the problem is it just tells you to avoid the laws domestically. Avoid the laws domestically, you know, just keep maneuvering out of society domestically and try to avoid it. But the problem is you're still in that society, and a lot of times you'll hear from MGTOW channels where they don't tell men, yo, you can have what you want. You know what I'm saying? And the problem with MGTOW is it's too domestic in the way of thinking. I mean, it's great. The thing is this: if you go MGTOW, you know, how I got introduced to the manosphere, it'll help you out domestically. You know, you'll avoid a lot of pitfalls. But the problem is you just end up remaining where you are domestically, and your whole life you could just die here domestic, in your domestic location, be it the US, be it Australia, be it Canada, you know what I mean, be it the United Kingdom. You'll just end up committing to a life where you won't obtain what you want. Because MGTOW, in all honesty, I look at it as you're kind of playing, you're playing Frogger. You're playing Frogger. You're just trying not to get hit by society's issues. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of MGTOW men will tell you, go monk. Just don't date any women forever, whatever. Don't sleep around forever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You'll have some guys, they'll still sleep around with some chicks here domestically, but there's no solution really. It's just, hey, avoid everything. Avoid as much as you can, get your resources. That's the flaw with MGTOW, and it's a domestic solution, but eventually what happens to a man if you just keep going MGTOW domestically and you start, finding out that your life isn't being fulfilled. You still want to be a father, still want to have children or whatever. You still want to have a household with a family and all that. You want to pass your genetics. And the thing with MGTOW is it's a domestic solution where you won't end up with none of that. But that's why I'd say, better, better than MGTOW, better than the red pill is you take the black pill and you accept the truth. And once you accept the reality of where you are domestically, you start looking for solutions that lie overseas. You see, MGTOW just tells you go your own way, but there's no true solution to that. Go your own way is basically go away from the legal systems and the legal entrapments of your domestic location. Just avoid them. But if you were to take, for example, you take the black pill and you realize all the issues in the world, you get self-aware of where you stand sexually with looks theory, where you stand in a country, whether you have, looks, money, status, and you start understanding that you have to look overseas for your solutions. You could still start a family. You have to go overseas, the problem with MGTOW is, and it eventually, what happens with MGTOW is that eventually a man that's gone his own way, gone MGTOW, that isn't seeking any solutions overseas, doesn't have that black pill knowledge or awareness, they eventually will go towards what I've coined the yellow pill. The yellow pill is basically a man who becomes aware of the legal system and starts to fear it and gets consumed by that fear of the legal system and starts to avoid living their lives. They get trapped domestically. They start to avoid socializing. And MGTOW, that's eventually where it will lead you to the yellow pill, where a man, because the thing is with the MGTOW thing is that MGTOW eventually gives you red pill awareness anyway. You know what I'm saying? The only difference I think with MGTOW is MGTOW you don't really need much knowledge of the red pill, because MGTOW just tells men and informs men about the legal system, the laws, and how you got to avoid these pitfalls, some female nature. You know what I mean? It's much more, MGTOW tends to be far more digestible than the red pill content and, and all those contents, because you don't need that reference point. MGTOW just tells men, here's the legal system, here's the problems. But MGTOW eventually leads a man to the yellow pill, where this man domestically becomes so fearful of the laws that he starts avoiding his life, and his life becomes about absolute risk evasion, evading and avoiding risks. The man starts fearing the law. This is why if you're MGTOW, you burn out. It's because you're not expanding beyond your domestic location. You'll hear one thing from a lot of MGTOW men is they speak as though the world is their country. So if a guy's MGTOW in the US, he's gonna speak as though the world is the US. If a man is MGTOW from the UK, he's gonna speak as though the world is the UK. And these men start seeing their country as the only location, and they fear the law so much they get consumed. which basically they eventually become a yellow pillar, where they fear their society and wake up to the fear of the law every day. You know what I'm saying? Or some MGTOW men will basically take vacations overseas. They'll go overseas for vacations here and there, but they don't understand that the solution is actually living and transitioning to live overseas and maximize the opportunity over there, and eventually just in the States, their domestic location is to just earn profit and fund their money to eventually move overseas. A location where the law isn't reflecting that of America or their UK, westernized society, Australia, Canada, Germany, wherever the laws are too effeminized, and men are too emasculated. So eventually the MGTOW man, if you just stay MGTOW, you just keep running in circles. It just becomes, how well can you run in that circle of avoiding the system, avoiding the laws, going monk, avoiding this, avoiding that. It becomes a lifestyle of just running in circles when the world is accessible to you. MGTOW is great. It's great to be MGTOW as a point of self-defense and awareness from the state and the laws. But to advance beyond that, you're gonna have to take the black pill and eventually understand that the system you're in, there are no solutions. All you can do here is earn money. I mean, you could watch a video I made called, Going Casper, or the stream I made, the Casper pill, or ghosting or Casper. The thing is, you're gonna eventually have to take the black pill one way or another. And when you take the black pill from MGTOW, you realize that the location is the issue, that you have to maneuver and leave that location, and eventually you're gonna, eventually you'll become a global-minded man. You'll take the gold pill. But the problem with MGTOW is, as I said, and you can watch a lot of MGTOW channels, and I mean, a lot of them haven't changed, because the majority of MGTOW channels are just about, they're stuck in a loop. That loop is the state. Women do this, women do that, the child support system, the marriage rate, the this, the that. When you go MGTOW, you get trapped in a domestic loop. And you could even I've watched a lot of old MGTOW content creators that are still here. I'm not meaning no disrespect, but I watch them. I won't put any names just in case some people are sensitive. But you watch a lot of MGTOW content creators that have been creating content for over 5 years or whatever. They're still doing the same thing. It's still the same reports. Women don't like you because of this. Women want this money, this and that, this and that. You get trapped in a loop with MGTOW. It just becomes, wake up, soldier. Wake up, avoid marriage, soldier. You put the wake up, soldier. 10 hut. You will go MGTOW. You will avoid marriage. You will avoid having a child. You will avoid the system, son. You will go your own way. You know what I'm saying? You get trapped in a loop in MGTOW. You know what I mean? I've rewatched. There's a lot of guys I stopped watching because, dude, they've been given the same content and the same issues because MGTOW is a domestic way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Just avoiding domestic hurdles, and you don't advance beyond that. You get stuck in a loop, and that's the danger of MGTOW. That's why eventually, if you've gone MGTOW, you will have to take the black pill. You know what I'm saying? You will realize that, child support, marital laws don't matter when you're not planning to have a child domestically. You're not planning to get married domestically. You have nothing more than work and labor domestically. That is your only interest. So how does it affect you? How does it affect you when you have no plans to have any children where you domestically are from? no plan to get married where you domestically are from, no plan to bring any woman from overseas to your domestic location. You know what I'm saying? That's when you take the black pill, and the black pill, when you take it, you realize all your solutions to your domestic woes are overseas. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have, as a man, the MRA, the men's right activists, you know what I mean, they failed. You know what I'm saying? They made a feminist looking for attention who made that movie. I think she made the Red Pill movie, whatever, but it was all about her. You know, I came in the way it showcases her, it showcases just how, god damn, I forget the word, just how self-absorbed she is when she starts the movie out by saying, I thought these men would be my enemy. Thought these men would be my enemies. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is this, man, you gotta understand, MGTOW has a limit. Its limit is domestic. You know what I'm saying? It's like how long can you go MGTOW and just go in circles in your state and in your country in that loop, and eventually that man becomes trapped in a scenario where he's basically living to avoid the laws and the system, which becomes a cat and mouse game. How long can I run away, go my own way, and avoid the system, versus taking a black pill where he realizes, yo man, the solution is overseas. And after I go overseas, the solution becomes global minded by taking an eventual gold pill where I become a person of the world, and I no longer have any attachments, you know, to the domestic location of my birth. You know what I'm saying? So the problem with MGTOW is it's just domestic. Now, as for MSTOW, the men that are basically MSTOW, that were sent their own way by their wives, their ex-wives, their girlfriends, and all these men do is play victim. Yo, she took this away from me. You know, when that man won't mention he gave it to her. The problem with MSTOW is eventually that level of hatred and that lack of ability to take accountability, they will eventually set themselves up again. You know what I'm saying? They'll eventually set themselves up again. You know, men sent their own way, and they will look for a new woman, a new family to start or join, whatever, to be sent their own way again. You know what I mean? The MSTOW are trapped in a loop of they can't accept any accountability for their actions. So it's only a matter of time before they repeat what got them there to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So it's only inevitable that a MSTOW will eventually join a woman again and start a family again and get sent their own way, since they can't accept any accountability. You know, that's what happened with Big John. You know, and a MSTOW, the thing about a MSTOW is they have the knowledge. They'll give men knowledge about, you know, female nature and all this and that, but they will not place themselves at a point where they will give accountability for their actions. You know, that's the major problem with the MSTOWs. You know what I'm saying? It's all about putting the issues on the women and not accepting any accountability for the role they played in it. You know, so MSTOW will give men some knowledge here and there, but their knowledge is corrupted because it keeps men in a loop of anger, because the MSTOW, you'll see their emotions rise and spark up when they mention the role the woman played in ending their marriage or putting them on child support, but they will not accept any accountability for actually getting into that and understanding that, yo, you gave her all these advantages and she cashed out. She cashed out and walked away with her prize that you gave her. You know what I'm saying? So that's a major issue, and the MSTOW will keep men in a loop of anger, depression, and, you know, hatred towards some women and this and that, and keep you looking at women as the enemy rather than, yo, these women are going to take you getting with them is giving them potential advantage. And it's just the way the system is. You know, these are the laws. They didn't make the laws. This is just what it is. And you bring whatever you bring to the table, you will always bring more than she brings. You know what I'm saying? For opening her legs, you're willing to give her a house, a car. You're willing to give everything to her. You don't get upset when she cashes out. You know, so it's a very difference, man. There's MGTOW and MSTOW, you know. And the problem with MGTOW and the MSTOWs, they both are domestic. You know what I'm saying? And MGTOW is very, very harmful for your health. There are some men that have clearly shown they were MGTOW. They were pushed out of a relationship and they yearn for that relationship. You know, they wish it would never have ended, even though it was not going to succeed and they were losing to begin with. You know, so you gotta be careful. That's why eventually, if you're MGTOW, you know, I was in the MGTOW section, but me, I was black pill without knowing. You know what I mean? I was just telling the absolute truth and I didn't deny it at all. You know what I mean? I've always been telling guys, yo, the solutions are overseas. You know what I mean? Whatever you want, you can have it. You know, it's just, are you willing to get a passport and fly and go do what you gotta do and go where you can get it? You know, so, but this has been hold the truth hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Also, you know, shout out to Gabriel. He's the one who requested this. And, you know, I was meaning to do a video on MGTOW and MSTOW for a while. I just kept forgetting when to do it. All right, peace.